Haley's going to continue sharing her screen. You're looking at, actually, what, can I zoom in for a minute? How can I zoom in? Haley, can you zoom in at all? Oh, got it. I think I did it, right? So when you go into AP Classroom, make sure that everybody's into AP Classroom, go into assessments, open up the assessment that you did, the in-class exam for the rhetorical essay, okay? And then you're going to you are going to, I'm trying to change my view so that I can actually get a bigger, okay, there we go. Then you're going to look on it'll be a split screen because you're going to hit score. You want to score your own essay, okay? So the first scoring opportunity would be thesis, and you would go through, does this thesis have a line of reasoning? And so have your essay right now. There is a line of reasoning if you have universal ideas in the thesis. She has amplified the injustice. She has representation of his people. She has separation due to the division of morals. She has a better way to communicate instead of leading to violence. That all gives her a lot of opportunity to analyze because they are universal ideas, they are statements, they are claims. They're arguable. So we need to, yes, it absolutely does establish a line of reasoning. Does it meet the criteria, and I'm reading the last one, that can be awarded a point whether or not the rest of the response successfully supports the line of reasoning. So we assume that she will establish that line of reasoning. The other one is, in general, is it defensible? Yes, because there's a universal idea in there. You shouldn't be citing evidence within the thesis. So she does not. She alludes to it. However, your 3 rhetorical devices need to be in the thesis. So we're going to give it a 1. She did get that point. We're going to move on. So if you only restated the prompt, you will not get the point. If you failed to address this, if you fail to name the 3 rhetorical choices, rhetorical choices are rhetorical devices, same thing. And she does have that in there. This one, yep, this is what it would look like if it restated the prompt. So these are all the examples that do not earn this point. So if you are confused about yours, take a look at the examples that do not earn this point, okay, which is where her cursor is. If you have direct evidence, you're not going to earn the point, and she does not. Okay. And most importantly, now here are the examples that do earn the point. We are just leaning on the fact that there are universal ideas and there are rhetorical devices. If you do that, you earn the point. Excellent. Okay, let's move on to what they call row B. Row B is the bulk of the points. This is where 4 points, you've got to hit it either 3 or 4 here. This is the evidence and the analysis. So this is your body. So what we want to do is just look at her first paragraph. However, Haley, when you were writing this essay, what did you have with you? What were you using as a support? Were you using the cheat sheet?
I used like the cheat sheet to like start off my first sentence, but then from there I just kind of I messed up because I kept looking at the timer.
Yeah, so can you go to the cheat sheet for a second, or do you not have it?
I don't have it open.
Okay, so I am going to go to the cheat sheet for 1 second, and then I want Haley to go back to her screen. If you could just let me show my screen for a second. A lot of people are saying the exact same thing, and I want to address that now to make sure that we're all using things the way that we should be using things. I cannot say enough, and I'm going to get into this in just a minute, and then we will get back to scoring Haley's. I cannot say enough that you must watch the 2 videos that I have on rhetorical analysis essay. I can make a third that is super short because a lot of people are saying, I don't know how to structure my essay. I didn't know what should go in the body paragraphs. I hear you, but only 15 people have seen the rhetorical analysis exam preview essay. And we have 28 people in class. So part of me is like, you need to pull your own weight here. I can only give you the material. I can't force you to learn it. The reason why I create videos, it's flipped learning model. You learn by listening first. When we come into class, we do. So if you don't learn at home those strategies, if you don't watch that video, you're going to feel confused. Really, really confused. And I can't make you watch them. That's the frustrating thing. What Haley did, I assume, what she said, and this is what I added. I added this structure slide within your prep cheat sheet. This right here, folks, this is your essay. So if you only look at one thing as an aid while you're writing, look at this. All right? She said she looked at the cheat sheet to maybe start her paragraphs. So we should see something about the RD in her paragraph. We should see a verb phrase. We should see a universal idea. Okay? These are the exact questions that should be in your paragraph. You do not have to do anything more in your paragraphs except answer these questions. If you answer these questions, you have a body paragraph. Move on, do it again, and do it again, and you're finished. Do a one-sentence conclusion, and you're done. So 10 minutes out of your 40 minutes, set your clock when you start for 10 minutes. 10 minutes out of the 40 would be organizing this. Filling out not writing the whole thing on the side, but writing your thesis, writing your topic sentences, and then now start drafting. 10 minutes obviously includes reading, and it includes finding the message, and it includes finding your 3 rhetorical devices. Some people said that they didn't know what rhetorical devices they should use. I say it all the time in class. I get it. Sometimes you turn off my voice. I get it. I do that too when I'm in meetings. If you get stuck, and of course what I did is I almost swore. I messed all this up so that by adding something, so I will fix this. I will fix this. I will fix this. But what it did say is use descriptive writing as a rhetorical device. Use repetition as a rhetorical device if you're stuck. However, there's the rhetorical devices here. Obviously, I have to clean this up because I messed it up, but there are rhetorical devices here that you can use. But if you're not finding any of these, just go with descriptive writing, repetition, and tone. That's it, because every piece you're going to read will have those things. What is descriptive writing? Adjectives, right? Imagery. So I don't want you to think, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do a fancy rhetorical device. No, absolutely not. You need to just choose something and go along with it. So before we go back to Haley's, I want you to think about this. I will give you this slideshow. This is the slideshow that we've been working on for our preview in class. What's the one for? Oh, sorry. Now I know. Sorry. So if you are someone who has been out of class, you want to work with this, this activity. This activity is the essay. It's just the outline of the essay. So for people who say they're confused, I'm going to say back to you, did you do the activity? If you were in a group and you feel that you didn't understand, you have to go back and you have to do this activity on your own. Spend 30 minutes to do it on your own. If you're still like, I don't get it, okay? I wrote this because I need you to like really take this in. There's a harsh way I can now start talking, right? But I did write in my notebook last night, and I can't find it, but I did write in my note. Oh, I did. Heart, support, care, and kindness. Heart, patience, right? So that's not my first response. My first response is, you guys, 15 people watched the video. Now it's time. I need evidence that you're going home and you are putting work in an effective way, which is, don't go back and look at everything you've written so far. I want you to just practice the strategy that's on the cheat sheet. Okay? Try a practice essay on your own. Score it like what you're doing with what Haley's doing right now. Okay? Read sample essays, watch the 2 videos, and do this little assignment here. Where do you get all this material? Everything is linked in this cheat sheet that I messed up that it's going to take me a few minutes just to put it back together. But all the links are up here, the links to the sample essays. It's going to take time. You're going to have to put some time in outside of class. So before we get back to Haley's, let me again share this message with you. This is me being maybe not my heart self, but I need to say this. You will, and this is honest to God, you will still feel crappy about this. You will still, unfortunately, continue to struggle unless you put the time in. Watch that stupid video. I keep saying it over and over again. You have to watch it. Listen, I cannot help you more than what I have already provided if you don't do your part. It's just going to be me spewing information that's not going to mean anything unless you go home and make meaning of it. And that is time outside of class. Figure out how you're going to use this cheat sheet during the exam. And I say that in the video. Like, I will mail this home to you next week for the other cheat sheets as well. Do you need to make Post-it notes? Do you need to write your own, put it in your own handwriting, what the structure should look like, and put it up on the wall? If you want a huge piece of paper to do that with, I will send you a huge piece of paper. Just let me know what you need. You want Post-its? I'll send you Post-its. You want note cards? I'll send you note cards. Please just let me know. I can do a survey, fill that out, and I'll send it next week. But you take time to put this structure here, write it out, put it on a big poster in your own handwriting, and you have that up. Or just follow along here, but it has to work for you. I will say this, and this sounds corny, but the more we write something in our own handwriting, the more we understand it. The more we speak it out loud, the more we understand it. The more we teach it to someone, the best we understand it. This sounds really corny. What I do, and I've always done this since college, I learned to do it in college. When I'm prepping for an exam, I pretend I'm teaching someone. I literally sit in my room. I used to shut my door, sit in my room, and I used to say, okay, here's what you do first. Here's what you're going to do second. Here's what you have to remember. So I'm literally saying that out loud to no one. But your brain internalizes it when you speak and when you pretend to teach someone. These are strategies. Okay, excellent. Someone said color coding makes it easier to remember information, which is why I'm a very visual person, so I try to do things in color. Maybe my color coding is messing you up, right? I try to do the topic sentences in green. I did the thesis in yellow, the parts of the essay in red. But let me know what you want, seriously, and I will get it to you to help prepare. All right, that's my lecture. You have to take ownership. Here are the 6 things that I would do, all right? And then you know what? I'm going to add in score your own essay because that's important. Each time you do a timed writing. Wow, I write so much faster than what my computer can process. There we go. Do these 7 things. Now, what's going to be hard about this is that starting Tuesday, we are moving on to the argument and the synthesis essays. I think this is going to be your hardest, and this is going to feel the most frustrating. This is why I started with this one in review, because we haven't done this since December. But I will say a lot of you didn't do the one in December where you were supposed to write it out in an essay format. And so, it's too late for that now, but now you have to practice. You have to do the writing on AP Classroom. You should have 3 timed writing practices for the rhetorical analysis essay by the time you take your test. One we did in class yesterday, you're going to score it. The other one timed, you'll find on Google Classroom for homework this weekend. And we're going to do a final one timed for due Tuesday. Okay? Question so far. Each time you do your essay, you're going to score it on AP Classroom. And I want you to at least put up your thoughts on this processing page, right? And I say, you know what, every time, so for the second time you do an essay, put it in red, right? Just so that we can see the different colors and the different times you did it. This is helpful for me to get your feedback. I will provide comments. It's great that you guys put a lot of stuff on here. Do it again each time you do it so that I can provide you feedback. Okay. Again, this is the structure. Everything that goes in a paragraph, that's it, just these questions. Some timed writing tips that sound pretty obvious, but I've learned over the years, don't doubt yourself. There was a student who came in this morning and said, I ruined it. I talked more about the text and I analyzed the text. I read like a reader and not like a writer. I said, that's not a problem if that's what you did in the essay, as long as you wrote something. So I know I've been saying all this time, read like a writer, but if you go into test day and you're like, that confuses me, I have no idea what that means, and you analyze the text, fine. Don't stop writing. She said, I kept wanting to stop writing because I knew I wasn't analyzing the devices. It's better to write something than to write nothing. Don't stop, is my point. The other piece that I said to her was, if you feel like you're going in the direction of read like a reader and you're analyzing the text like you would in any English class, you're fine as long as then you go back into what you've written, right? And connect it to a rhetorical device. So how does what you notice in your analysis of the text, how does that relate back to, so she was using a synonym. I said, fine, compare a synonym to what he was talking about in what you found in your analysis of the text. And if you can't think of something, you're going to have to think, what does a synonym do? It's a run-on. It gets attention. Just put that down. Put the job of a synonym down and try to connect it as best as you can to what you notice in the text. Part of this is once you have an idea, don't doubt yourself. She kept stopping herself. Just keep going. Manipulate what you have in your mind to make it work. Like I said, she was thinking of something that was more text analysis. Fine, manipulate it back to what you know that a synonym can do. Set your alarm for 10 minutes. That's what you read. That's what you find your rhetorical devices. That's how you set up your thesis and your topic sentences. That's 10 minutes. If you do it in 12, fine, but you have to get to writing. You need 25 to 30 minutes to just draft. And the second one is to bullshit it. And I can't say this enough. This is like 90% of life is pretending that you know what you're doing and trying your best. And honestly, pretend like you are a celebrity AP writer, that you do this for a living, that people have called you to come in and write this and show it to the world, because you need to go in knowing that, or pretending that you feel like you're an expert. And here's the other thing with writing, and I think students, this is huge. I think students feel like they have to know what they're going to write before they write. There's nobody, and I've done writing for a living, I don't know what I'm going to write when I start writing. That includes in a timed essay. I took one this summer. I had 3 timed essays. I had a general direction. I had my thesis and my topic ideas, so I had a focus. Once I got into each paragraph, I had no idea what I was going to write before. I kept going in my head back to the topic and back to the thesis. But other than that, you shouldn't know exactly where you're going to go. And I know that's frustrating. If you get stressed about it, you have to let that stress go and just keep writing. And that's going to take practice, and that's going to take 2 more rhetorical analysis essays. So in total, you have 3. All right, questions? I'll go back to here. People were honest, and I appreciate that. I would read this. Like if you are at the point where you're like, I am not good at this, you need to take that out of your mind. You are good at this. This is just uncomfortable. It's new and it's high pressure. And so let's just get over that. We're all in the same boat. Just know what you need to do. Just game plan it right now. We're like leading up to the big game, right? The big football game. I've never played football, but that's what life is. I think it's a big football game. So you need to just go in work what you can work, right? Do what you can do with the materials that you're given. And look, people are saying, here are your next steps. Make sure you filled out an I need to. What do you need to do? Fill out 2 things you need to do and do that over the weekend. What seemed hard? Time, absolutely. But set your alarm for 10 minutes, okay? And you should have a countdown on I think they do give you that when you're taking the exam, so that you do know when you have a 5-minute and you have a 5-minute warning. But if not, if you can set an alarm on your other computer for 10 minutes and then set your phone to be at 38 minutes, that's a good strategy, right? So you're making sure that you're finished with 2 minutes left. Structure. Yes, and I hope that this new structure image that I put up, I hope that helps, because this is it. This is all you should really need, right? In theory, when you write. Yes, the rhetorical devices. People are saying that they need help understanding the rhetorical devices. If you go back here, okay, it's going down a rabbit hole. The reason why I had you write in boxes was so that you could internalize the pieces of what you need to write about. Someone said it took a long time to find the message. Remember, universal ideas are the message. This person came in this morning, and she knew the message when she talked it out loud to me. She just didn't think that was the message. Any universal idea you have, and then what does the writer want? What does the writer want? That's the message. Yes. Okay, it's quite normal to feel frustrated and unsatisfied and challenged at this point, because now we're at like the reckoning point. It's like, this is what I need to do. This is what's not happening. I need to climb back out of it. And here are the steps I need to do. I was scared I would transition from analyzing the author's rhetorical choice to analyzing the text. So I was stuck. Again, this is the writer that I spoke with this morning. You can definitely take what you're doing in analyzing the text and backtrack it if that's what you're doing. Let's go to Haley's for a second. Haley, I'm going to stop sharing. We did the thesis. Now we're here at the bulk of it. Let's just read what we're looking for. If there's a lot of grammatical errors or like we don't understand the sentences, that's going to knock it down. And if you could just skim on the notes for the rubric to the right, Haley, to earn the 4th point, okay? The response may observe multiple instances of the same rhetorical choice if each instance further contributes to the argument, purpose, or message of the passage. Okay, let's repeat that. Yes, you can notice. So let's say, this is tricky. Let's say in two of the body paragraphs, Haley talks about the same rhetorical choice. What are they saying about that? They're saying that, okay, that's okay if each instance further contributes to the argument, the purpose, the message of the passage. I'm going to throw that out there as like a if you have no other option, because I don't want people to get stuck on repeating what you've already said. So I do want you to push for 3 rhetorical choices or devices, but I also want you to have 5 paragraphs or a solid 4, right? So if they're saying if you get stuck and you mention the same rhetorical choice twice in 2 of the body paragraphs, please make sure that you do it differently and you communicate a different universal idea. I think that's going down a rabbit hole. I'd rather have you do 3 rhetorical devices. Okay, Haley, can you skip to the right so we can see the bottom arrow that goes to the right? Yeah, that one. Oh, go to the left. I'm sorry. Go to the, yep, evidence and commentary. Can you click on the 4 under evidence and commentary? Okay, this is what a 4 looks like. All right. So we know what should go in there. Take a look at explain how the writer's use of rhetorical choices, which are the rhetorical devices, contributes to your interpretation of the message. That's all that's saying is, are you connecting it to a universal idea? Are you asking how or why it's related to that idea? So basically, if you go back to the cheat sheet, I'm not going to make Haley put her screen down. You go back to that box that I just added in the cheat sheet. If you answer those questions, I think there are 5 questions, then you've done your analysis. All right. So let's take a look at her first body. Haley, what did you think after writing your first body paragraph?
I don't think I got my point across for the first body paragraph. I think like it's more, I had like a run-on sentence instead.
Okay, so what's your rhetorical choice? A syndeton, right?
A syndeton, yeah.
Okay, I want to point something out. Even though I give you the sentence frame of writer employs a syndeton in order to, as your topic sentence, you don't need it as your topic sentence as long as a syndeton is introduced somewhere. All right, so Gandhi introduces in his conclusion how that when there is war, you cannot win without any risks and harming people on the opposing side. People who have the opposing view as your own are often targeted. This is where he utilizes a syndeton and projects, and then she gives us the syndeton. When projecting this statement in his letter to Lord Irwin, Gandhi amplifies, nice vivid verb, how no war is worth it because it destroys the connections that the people are trying to create, along with harming the people on both sides. Utilizing war to obtain a necessity that all people need is not worth it, which is what he is trying to express in a calm manner that implies sadness to his words. Great, you just need to focus it into a syndeton. So how you need to say, what does a syndeton do, right? What's the function of a syndeton? It's on the cheat sheet, right? It grabs people's attention. It brings people along in the argument. It points to the flow, the rhythm, or it points to a sense of urgency and importance and like saying an exclamatory sentence with an exclamation point without using an exclamation point, right? So there has to be more around a syndeton. I would also say that, yes, so you analyze the text more than you analyze the rhetorical device. So I would go back to those 5 questions in the cheat sheet. Everyone go to the cheat sheet. if someone can put the cheat sheet link in the chat for people, that would be helpful. But I added a new box with an outline. That's all you need. Haley didn't have that before. Answer the 5 questions to get to your analysis. I would say that she has a great introduction to the way she talks about a synonym. This is where he utilizes a synonym and projects. I like that, and projects. My pushback to you is this. Is that a synonym if he has the and? The way you get around that, if she can absolutely find no other example, don't use the and in the piece that you put in there. Take that out, because you're basically saying, no, this is not a synonym, because now he brings the and in, right? However, you could get by with the first 2 of those as a synonym, joining those 2 together. Does anyone recognize another rhetorical device with far more numerous, far more ancient? What's another rhetorical device that's in there? Repetition. Repetition.
I have repetition, but that's like, I think it's my last paragraph that I used it.
Right.
That's why I didn't want to use it again.
Exactly. Okay, fair enough. But if you do it right, they're saying you can still earn a 4. You would just need to really do it right, right? And I want you to stay away from using it twice. However, if you're like, I can't think of anything else, then use the same RD twice. Just make sure you say different things about it. So my main feedback to you is you have to make this about a synonym. Yes, connect it to what you're noticing about the text. Also, go back to your thesis. Are you addressing all those universal ideas from the thesis in this paragraph? Make sure. So she doesn't have to answer that right now, but that's what they mean by line of reasoning. She has all these awesome universal ideas. She got a point for her thesis, but if she's not bringing down her universal ideas and dealing with them in her body paragraphs, she breaks the line of reasoning from her thesis, right? And if she's not connecting the universal ideas to how the writer is using it, I would say the biggest trick in doing this is thinking to yourself, what is the job of this rhetorical device? What does repetition do, right? What important ideas does the writer want to get across? Why would the writer, so think, why would I use repetition in this moment? Why would I use a synonym in this moment? Okay. Let's just quickly look at her second one. Gandhi then continues. Great transition. You don't have to have that, but that's an excellent transition. Gandhi then continues on to describing, I'm going to get rid of that then, to describing how he does not want to harm the British people. Instead, he wants to introduce them to his calm manner, introduce how violence is not always the answer, and for the British to see how much harm they have caused to India. My grammatical feedback to her is to put some commas in, or put a period in here, to split. It's too long for the reader. So to try to split it into some way, or use a semicolon somewhere, or a dash. Okay, does that relate back to her ideas in the thesis? Haley, what do you think it takes down from your thesis?
For this one, I was trying to compare it to how both of the people are the same. It's just that they needed to relate to one another instead of going straight to violence.
Could you have started then with that?
I was going to, but I couldn't find a way to phrase it correctly, which is why I ended up with the run-on sentence.
And your run-on sentence, I mean, that's fine. There's still a universal idea in there, not harming, right? Violence is not the answer. So the harm and the, nonviolence would be the universal idea. But what you just said out loud talking to us is what you could have written, right? Your takeaway here, folks, is to go back to the thesis after you write your claim. Does the thesis take the universal idea or one of them? Does your claim or your topic sentence, right, first sentence, take one of the universal ideas from your thesis or the universal idea from the thesis and drop it down and connect it to, she doesn't have an RD in the first sentence. My feedback would be to focus the writing and to try to use the sentence frame that's on the cheat sheet in green and see what it feels like next time you do a timed writing to just steal the sentence frame in green. I think you're making it too hard for yourself in a timed environment, and what happens is you might be losing some focus to the universal idea and you might be losing the line of reasoning. What do I mean by line of reasoning when I say that phrase? Does anyone know? Analysis, line of reasoning is the analysis, but it takes the ideas that are in the thesis and like a line, drops them down the essay. They really, if you do that, you're going to score high on your essay. Very simple to do. Just look back to make sure that the universal ideas appear in each of your topic sentences or synonyms of your universal idea. It doesn't have to be the exact same word. Do like words to your universal idea. All right, let's see how you introduce the RD in this.
Actually, I messed up in this. I mixed up the rhetorical devices I used. In this one, I didn't introduce it. I just went straight to stating the evidence.
Yeah.
And then for this one, I put the wrong rhetorical device that I used.
That's okay. I'm reading this middle paragraph. Her strength is how she integrates text. If you look at it, and her strength is her transition words. She guides us through the reading with vivid verbs. Gandhi believes. Okay. So we understand, we understand that you understand the text. That's fine. You're done with that one. He depicts, I want to serve them even as I want to serve my own. What were you thinking was the rhetorical device with that one?
For this one, I wanted to say it was repetition because of the fact he kept saying, I want to serve, I want to serve.
Absolutely, it is. Can someone tell me another rhetorical device that is in this sentence? I want to serve them even as I want to serve my own. I want to serve them even as I want to serve my own. Them, my own. Connected to A, B. This can be two different things. What is this? I want to serve as, like, as. What is that?
Simile.
Simile. In fact, you could say it's an analogy, right? Because there's more than one. It's not the sun is like a flower. It's like the idea of me serving them and the idea of me serving my own. See how it's an analogy? It's a stretched out simile. There's a lot of words on each side of the as. That's what makes it an analogy. One more thing it can be. Them, my own, together. New meaning. Nonviolence. Juxtaposition. A, B. Them is different than my own. He puts them together to create a new meaning. What is he saying? The message out of that. That's juxtaposition. Two different things next to each other. And repetition. It is repetition. But she already had a repetition. So push yourself. Okay. Let's go to the third real quick. Again, her strength is her flow, right? So she's going to get a point for sophistication, that hard point to get, that final point. because she puts everything together with transition words. This then leads to Gandhi proposing how he wants the British to join his people. We get she understands, okay, and she's guiding us through the poem. So her working area is, how do you bring the rhetorical device front and center? One quick fix: steal the sentence frame, or at least put the RD to the top of the paragraph somehow in the second sentence. The reason, so instead of the reason why he wants them to, you're going into analyzing the text, replace that with, here's the RD that I found, we're dealing with whatever RD this is, and here's how it's connected to this idea. Now, is this topic sentence related to your thesis? Let's see if she's doing the line of reasoning. Are you taking a universal idea from your thesis and putting it in this topic sentence? Let's check. I have I have proposing how he wants the British to join his people. Okay, is that debatable? Is that a claim? What would make this a claim is how Gandhi is doing that, or why Gandhi is doing that. So let's go up to the thesis to see what we could drop down. What do you think we could drop down, Haley? Because you know this essay, you've written it. What universal idea might you drop down?
I was trying to drop down the separation due to the division in morals, which is why they should join together.
Yes, then all you have to say is, Gandhi, take the same phrase. Take the same phrase and put it in there. Then if you have time afterwards, go back and find a synonym. But guys, take the same things from your thesis and just drop it down into your claims. Don't make this harder than it is. If you have leftover time, go back in and massage it a little bit and take out the exact word from the thesis and come up with a synonym. But please don't I think we're making this harder. Do you see how she could have just taken this idea of separation, used the same word, started off her sentence with it, right? What rhetorical device are you working with here?
This one is the one I mistaken it for repetition, but it was supposed to be personification.
Okay. He utilizes, let's just say you put this in. He utilizes repetition in order to show how life has more to offer, and for the British to rephrase its steps will be enough to melt the stoniest of hearts. Oh yeah, that is a good personification. It's also something else if anyone wants to. Could be metaphor, right? Something is standing in for, like, the stoniest hearts, means something else. So Haley is so close. She's so close. I'm glad that she shared her essay because it's what a lot of people are struggling with. She just needs to drop down her universal ideas to start each topic sentence. Yeah, I would say that too. Why did you choose a 2?
The reason why I picked the 2 is because I didn't really describe how the rhetorical devices came in hand with my thesis.
Absolutely. And your line of reasoning, which is what? What do I mean by that?
Connecting the evidence with my rhetorical device.
It is more than that. It's picture a line that goes down your essay. It's taking the universal ideas that you said. You have so many awesome universal ideas in that thesis. It's so rich, which is great because it allows you to just drop them right in to each body paragraph. So she could have organized this by simply finding the universal ideas that she names in her thesis, and literally paragraph 3 is going to be about separation, and it's going to connect to personification, right? Paragraph 2 is going to be about nonviolence. Paragraph 3, so whatever universal idea was in her thesis should be dropped down into her topic sentence. I would steal the topic sentence frame from the cheat sheet it's going to center your essay on rhetorical device instead of analyzing the text. That's the simplest way I can tell you to focus on bringing rhetorical device to the forefront. Okay, so far she has a 3. What would she get for sophistication? I think she would get that point. She does connect. She does have. Oh, now that I'm reading it, hold on. The point should be awarded only if the sophistication of thought or complex understanding is part of the student's argument and not merely a phrase or reference. I mean, I do think she's reading the text for sophistication. I think it's probably a 0. I think what would make it sophisticated, and you do connect everything, right? Which is part of that sophistication point. But again, it's gonna go back to the line of reasoning. Can you go down for a second to see what it does not do? Let's just see if we're right. Responses that do not earn this point, attempts to contextualize the text. I don't think she does that. Let's go down. Examine individual rhetorical devices, but do not examine the relationships among different choices throughout the passage. That's really hard to do, right? So let's put that on the side for a moment. Okay, for homework, folks, I'm putting up another timed rhetorical analysis essay. I want you to score the first one that you did, and I want you to do another one over the weekend. You do not have to score the second one for homework. So coming into Monday, score the first one. It's going to take you 10 minutes, and then 40 minutes to write the second one. I'm going to put that one up in my lunch break. Okay, and I will put the homework on Google Classroom with a video note again. Please direct message me your feedback or text me your feedback. I know I went fast. I know this was a lot of talking, but that's kind of where we're at right now. Okay, hang back if you're totally lost, please. I'm going to meet with you separately. Haley, thank you so much for sharing your work. We appreciate you. All right, I'm going to do breakout rooms. Anyone else need to meet with me? Yes, what's up? You raised your hand. Thank you for raising your hand. What are you thinking?
Hi, Miss. Can I make